Hi, welcome back. Now we are going to look at a specific I2C trigger and decode. I have a demo board here that generates various signals like I2C, FlexRay, CAN, SPI, UART. Now I have set this board for generating an I2C clock and an I2C data. So it's a SCN and a SDA. Now as you see here, I have channel 1 clock and channel 2 data. So I can change my time per volts per division and time per division as I see, and I am going to turn on the serial decode. Let me tell you, the serial decode that is available on this are various, from Ethernet to ARINC, audio bus, audio, CAN, FlexRay, I2C, I3C, LIN, MIDI, MIL1553, MIPI, RS22, UART, Manchester, DIG-RF, CENT, SHOP, SPI, custom built, UAS, base wire, SPIM and USB 2. These are low speed serial buses that is available on a trigger decode. LeCroy employs trigger, decode, math as well as eye diagram. So measurement and eye diagram. So what happens is, when we employ a trigger and decode, we are able to look at not only just trigger and decode of these signals of these serial bus, we'll be able to measure them and also make an eye pattern for noise or jitter analysis. So these are low speed serial buses. On high speed serial buses, we have DDR, PCI Express, up to Gen 5 and DDR5. We have SATA, USB 3 and so on and so forth. Okay, now I have turned on the I2C trigger. So when we look at I2C trigger, and what I have here is a clock and what I have here is a data, and we are looking at this in a format that we have employed. Larger, for ease of use, I am going to just remove the clock from the display, but the clock is definitely running behind the clock from the display, so that I could employ a zoom and you will be able to see the decode in a much better fashion. As of now, the decode is running at quite a big memory. I am going to increase this memory so that the decode is much better, and I can even increase the number of decode area. Well, let's take one particular decode here. So I am going to take this. I'm going to stop for ease of use. So let's just look at this. If you look at the color coding on this, it's very interesting for you to understand that you can see that I am looking at just a startup frame. I2C has different frames, so I am just looking at a startup frame, and if you could see this clearly, I get here the list of decoded data, the startup frame, and this is my address at 0x58. This is a write bit, so it mentions that this is a write bit here, and you could see that the slave is acknowledged, and the next, this is after the address bit, after the slave acknowledging, you could see the data bit that is transferred at address. Data code is 0x6e and address to 0x58. And after the data is sent, there is another acknowledgement from the chip back to the master, and you have another data that is being sent, 0xa3, and then there is a acknowledge, and then there is a stop bit. So if you look at I2C, this is how it works. This is one particular frame. This is one particular frame. So if you look at one particular frame, this much of data is embedded in it. And similarly, we have the next frame. But you see the next frame, there's a start bit similarly, and then there's an address bit. In this case, it is a 0x59. There is an acknowledgement. There is a data again. There is an acknowledgement. There is a data again, and then there is a non-acknowledgement. And since there is no acknowledgement available from the slave, so it's marked in red. Now this is something which is an error that you could find out during decode. Now the scope can also look at how many such errors are available. You could directly lock onto a particular address, you can directly lock onto a particular data, and then this data will be able to give you a target chip of which channel is giving this error. And if you look at the signal integrity of this, you could see that this particular frame has an error. So we could ask the scope to bring out the frames that has similar errors, or a non-acknowledge error, or it could be an address error, or it could be address bit errors, or you could lock onto a particular address and see if the data is available. You can set the scope on triggering on these address lines and data lines, so as to bring these waveforms to the picture. And as you see, we could move on to the next frame, and a similar frame kind of structure is available here too. So as we move, you could go on and on, because this actually basically generates one good frame and one error frame. So you could see always there is a good frame, and then there is always the error frame with an error. Now you could go and search. If you employ this, there is a setup and then there is a search. Now what do I search? I could search for a particular ID. I could search for an address length, I could search for a read or a write bit, or I could search for a data bit, or a time bit, address bit, length and status. And so let's say I look at a write bit, or I could look at a acknowledge bit, and then see if this acknowledgement arrives or doesn't arrive. So depending on the arrival of this acknowledge or a write bit, you could basically go to the next bit. So as you see here, I am moving bit by bit. I am able to see that so many bits are here. Here actually you can see the main channel is the channel 1. You could see which is that trigger area that we are looking at. You can see here, or you could go directly to the first and then go jump signal by signal. You will be able to see. So you can target this at that area. It's very easy to see for example, this is a write bit, and this is a read bit. This is a write bit to the read bit. So depending on that, here you have a error. So you'll be able to mark those errors and search for them. Use value, and also in values you'll be able to see and search for a value that is available on a frame. Now you could go frame by frame. Since it is color coded, it is easier for you to understand. So this way you can also make a lab view, lab note. Let's say I have a lab note that I am going to look at. I could save such waveforms and store them. And I'd like to save this waveform for you. Lab note, and then save it. Now I have got this saved. You can also use the non-acknowledge part of it. So you can use a non-acknowledge part of it. You can make a mark. Sorry. So you could mark that and then send across as a PDF to your customers. And this can also be employed on a network within your organization or onto the internet, so that the third party or your customers or your principals or the person who has given you this particular work can live see these results on his PC, because we have new Movi software that runs on the PC as well. The PC will be able to decode these. Once this data is saved, this entire data can be saved and then taken to a PC, and the similar analysis can be done on the PC as it is. Right now we have stopped, the acquisition is not there, as you see. So acquisition is stopped and these analysis can be done offline.